Hi, I'm Mark James. I've been in the ITIL, SIAM and ITSM space for over 25 years now. Please subscribe, hit the bell, like. I add videos to my channel on a regular basis. So, let's get down to it. Today I'm going to be talking about, yep, you guessed it, overview of the service value system in ITIL4. So, first off, in a nutshell, for service management to run well, for it to run correctly, you need to have inputs. And the service value system within ITIL4 provides these inputs. It provides elements, it provides outputs. So the input is the trigger. So that's what starts it off. It's the opportunity, it's the demand. The elements within that system provide organizational governance, service management, continuous improvement, capability, resources, and those outputs is very much value-based, co-creation of value. You'll see that term a lot within ITIL4. It delivers value to the organization, delivers value to your customers, delivers value to your stakeholders. The service value system sets out at a high level everything that you need to know and everything that you need in order to turn whatever that demand is or whatever that opportunity is into value. And it does it and it does it in a way that allows you to do it as quickly as possible in order for you to deliver those services or those products that ultimately will deliver, those products and those services that will deliver value to your stakeholders. So it maps those capabilities, the elements that you need to have in order to run an efficient, in order to run an effective, an agile service management operation or a service management organization. So it maps those elements and those capabilities basically. And think of it as an operating model to create, to deliver products, services, and work on continual improvement of services. In fact, the service value system, for those of you that were from an ITIL3 background, you'll recognize this as the service life cycle. So if you remember, there was strategy right at the middle, and then you had the design, service transition, service operation, and then that CSI. So in ITIL4, that's basically become the service value system, is perhaps the best way to look at that. A couple of key points on that service value system. At the beginning, the trigger to it all is that opportunity, it's that demand. And that can be anything. That can be somebody just asking a question or an information request, or perhaps it's a customer needing a product or a service of some kind, or maybe it's a problem of some kind, it's a P1, something's gone wrong, there is demand for that to be fixed. At the end of the service value system is value, so you're creating value. Now that can be anything from revenue, loyalty, cost, growth, or a brand new service. And it's about those perceived benefits, the usefulness that is producing. So to summarize around the service value system in itself, it's a model for representing how all the components, how all those activities within your organization would work together to facilitate value creation through IT-enabled systems. And it's the components within the system that create the value. And we'll talk about what those components are in a moment. But it's about the components which within that system that then creates your end result, which is your value, creating co-creation of value to your stakeholders. So if we dive into just a little more detail then, within that service value system, you have guiding principles, you have governance, you have something called a service value chain, and I'll do a separate video just on the service value chain, practices, and continual improvement. So I'll spend just a bit of time on each one of those. So guiding principles, these are recommendations that can guide an organisation in all circumstances, regardless of what's going on within that organisation. So regardless of any change in goals, regardless of any strategic direction changes, regardless of any kind of type of work, or more commonly management structure changes, these guiding principles are recommendations that organisations, regardless of what's going on, can use. Governance, so how the organisation is directed, how the organisation is controlled. Value chain, so the service value chain, that's right at the centre of the service value system. That is a set of interconnecting activities that an organisation performs to deliver a valuable product or a valuable service to those stakeholders, to consumers. And the end result there is that you are facilitating value. You are producing some kind of product, some kind of service as a result of that service value chain. And out of that comes the value piece. And within a service value chain, you will have things like plan, improve, engage, design and transition, obtain and build, deliver and support. And all of those bundled together, you can map activities and you can see the route of right from the point of the initial demand, the opportunity, right through to the end result of producing whatever it is, service or a product, and then the end result being that value. The other component is practices. So within ITIL4 there are 3 types of practices. There's general management practices, there's service management practices, and there are technical management practices. There's 34 in all, and those are a collection of organisational resources that are designed for performing work or achieving some kind of end result, an objective of some kind. So, for example, that could be anything from the general management practices, it could be architectural management, it could be continual improvement, it could be security management, knowledge management. From a service management practices, perhaps that is around availability management, asset management, monitoring, event management, problem management, design, service level management. And then a technical management practice could be around your infrastructure and your platform management, or your dev environments, your software development, or perhaps deployment management. And then the final piece within the service value system is continual improvement. That's abbreviated to CI, and that's a reoccurring activity within your organisation to make sure that you are meeting the expectations of your stakeholders. So there's an ITIL continual improvement model, and there are various steps and various questions and activities that you would go through. So for example, that continual improvement would look like, what's the vision? Where are you trying to get to? Have we got there, how do we keep momentum going? So there's a step-by-step process, and I'll talk through that in a few moments around the continual improvement. But it's a way of continually ensuring you're meeting that value, that stakeholder value. So the ITIL continual improvement model has a number of questions. First question is, what's the vision? So perhaps you want to look at and understand, what is the business's vision? What's its goal? What is it actually trying to do? Perhaps it has a mission statement. What are its objectives? Second question on this continual improvement model is around, where are we now? So best way to think of that is, what is the current situation as is? What does it look like? What is basically establishing a baseline effectively as to, well, this is where we are. And that may be good, that may be bad, but it's important just to draw a line under it and say, well, this is where we are at the moment, that baseline assessment. And then the next step and the next question within continual improvement is, where do we want to be? Have you actually defined a target that you can measure to? The obvious question following that is, how do we get there? So this is an improvement plan. Define an improvement plan. Get something together that says, okay, here's the plan. This is how we can do this, how we can achieve it. What are the activities? What are the resources? What's the money? How does that look like? Take action is the next step. So it's all well and good understanding the vision, understanding the baseline, where do we want to go to, and how would we get there in terms of putting a plan together. The next step is take action. You need to execute that. You need to do the things that are in that improvement plan and the actions. Clearly, there's a level there of perhaps an incremental activity. Maybe you don't want to do all of those activities simultaneously. Otherwise, you may end up just chasing your tail and going around in circles. But take action, do something about it, execute, start on those activities. And the next question is around, well, did we get there? Now, this is a particular favourite of mine in terms of, how do you know you've actually got to where you wanted to get to? So metrics are a key point there. Now, you did set some metrics at the beginning, didn't you? When you were looking at where do we want to be, part of that involved defining a target that you can measure against. There's no point asking the question, did we get there, and then not really being able to answer the question, because we haven't been recording it. We don't know where we were. We don't know what the reporting metrics are, what the KPIs are to say, have we actually achieved it? And then the recurring element of this continual improvement question is, how do we keep that momentum going? So back to the beginning, and as it goes around, what's the vision? Where are we now? Where do we want to be? How do we get there? Take action. Did we get there? How do you keep the momentum going? And so it goes round and round in that continual improvement loop. Okay, thank you for listening. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like click the bell, subscribe, and I'll continue to post information around ITIL4, SIAM, service management. Thank you very much.